starting on page 10. After Yahweh finished making his perfect earth, something terrible happened. God's most important angel became unhappy. This angel's name was Lucifer, which means the shining one. God had created him to do a special job. However, Lucifer began to think he deserved something better. He did not want to be an angel any longer. He wanted to be in authority. Lucifer decided that he deserved to be God. Since he did not want to follow God's rules, Lucifer made his own rules. He talked many other angels into fighting against Yahweh. They wanted to ruin everything, which made heaven a very unhappy place. The Bible uses a special word to describe Lucifer's choice to go against God. The Bible calls this sin. To sin means to decide not to follow God's rules. When you do this, you are telling the Lord that you think you know better than He does. Sin spoils things, and it always hurts somebody. We know this is true when we see a person carry out a crime or disobey a law. It hurts somebody. If officials catch the criminal, they punish him. He has to pay money or go to prison. That is only fair. It is not right for people to be wicked and somehow avoid punishment. In the same way, the Bible tells us that God is always fair. He does not like it when people sin. He knows that sin always hurts somebody. He punishes all sin with just the right amount of punishment. It is never too little and never too much. Yahweh always does that which is right and fair. Lucifer and his angels hated God and did not want to obey him. Because Yahweh is perfect, he could not have these bad angels living with him in his perfect home. They were spoiling heaven. Therefore, God threw them out and told them never to come back. God changed Lucifer's name to Satan, which means enemy. Satan was now an enemy of God. God made a new home for Satan and these bad angels. Because these angels were terrible, this new home was terrible. Because these angels were cruel and unhappy, this new home was a place of hurt and despair. This new home was an awful place called the lake of fire. Those who live in this home live there forever. This is a place of punishment for Satan and his bad angels. Many angels followed Satan in choosing to disobey God. However, a lot more angels kept on obeying God and being his special servants. These good angels live with God and serve him in heaven, Yahweh's perfect home. The Bible says that in the beginning, when God made the world, it was like heaven. There were no tears, pain, or fear. There were no bad or unkind people. No one stole, lied, or killed. There was no sin of any kind. Best of all, nothing ever died. The world God made was a wonderful place to live. It was the way God wanted things to be. It was perfect. The people God created were also perfect. Only perfect people can live with a perfect God. The first man, named Adam, and his wife was called Eve. Yahweh placed them in the beautiful garden he had created. God allowed Adam and Eve to go anywhere they wanted. They could eat anything they liked, with one exception. God told them not to eat the fruit from one particular tree. If Adam and Eve did not obey that one rule, it would be sin. If they chose to sin, they would not be able to live with Yahweh. Following this rule was not difficult for Adam and Eve. There were plenty of fruit trees in the garden. However, by obeying God, Adam and Eve showed the Lord Yahweh that they believed him. They trusted that he knew what was best. This is what God wanted. Yahweh was saying, "Trust me." That is how it was in the beginning. Perfect people trusting a perfect God in a perfect world. Then Satan came to the beautiful garden. He told Adam and Eve that Yahweh was hiding something good from them. Satan said that if they ate the fruit from that one tree, then they would be like God. Was Satan telling the truth, or was he lying to them? What should Adam and Eve do? If they believed Satan, they would eat the fruit. However, if they believed God, they would not. Whom should they believe? Yahweh or Satan? Whom should they trust? Adam and Eve began to think that being perfect people in God's perfect garden was not good enough. They wanted more. They wanted to be like Yahweh. Therefore, they did the one thing that God told them not to do. They ate the fruit. Adam and Eve believed Satan's lie. They thought Satan knew better than God what was good for them. They disobeyed God's one easy rule and joined with Satan against Yahweh. This was sin. Because of Adam and Eve's sin, the whole world changed. It was not as safe and perfect like before. Just living became hard work. Weeds grew out of the ground. The animals started to kill each other. The world became a frightening place. Because of sin, the world was full of disease and despair. It became a place of death. Adam and Eve thought that they were choosing what was best. However, their decision to disobey God ruined everything. The Bible says that death came into the world because of Adam and Eve's sin. Death is an awful thing. When a person dies, his spirit leaves his body, never to return. He will not live on earth again. That is why when we go to a funeral, we are sad. Our friend has left us, and we feel all alone. Death has separated us from each other. In the same way, Adam and Eve joined Satan's side. Their sin separated them from Yahweh. The friendship was over, and Adam and Eve felt all alone. This is what the Bible means when it talks about death. Sin has separated us from God.